Hello and welcome back to Uplift Lifestyle Podcast. I am sitting here today with Kendall St. Clair. I am so excited for our conversation. Kendall is one of our Uplift Lifestyle facilitators, and she offers limitless activation sessions to our community here at Uplift Lifestyle. Lots of hypnotherapy, somatic work, breath work, coaching. It's a very immersive, holistic experience. So, some of you may know Kendall. Maybe this is the first time you're getting to know her. But today, I'm really excited to dive into your story, Kendall, so that everyone who's listening gets to know you and where it all started for you and how you got on this path, because the gifts you have are very rare and very unique, and it takes a very specific journey to get you here. So, can you tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do for your life's work, and then what you just enjoy doing? Like, what's your life by design?
Yes, yes, yes. So honored to be here. So thank you. And who am I? I love this question. I'm always like, what's going to come out of my mouth? Uh, but I am a transformational guide, is how I just like to see myself. And that can be interpreted in so many ways. But for me, it's guiding people to freedom, guiding people to liberated living, and creating a life that feels good for them. And that ties a bit into who am I offline when I'm not in this space as a quantum healer, as a hypnotherapist, and into my own journey because I grew up in two very different homes. And from that, it was be one person at this house and one person at this house. Add that to being a Gemini, it was like one mask here, one mask here, right? And so the authentic living for me was a big question mark. I didn't really know what that meant. I knew what survival living was. I knew what it meant to be this person in order to be accepted at this house and be accepted at this house. But outside of that, who was I really? Right? And that was the start of my journey. And so once I discovered spirituality, that kind of became my personality for a bit because it was just a very safe space for me to discover myself, to unpeel my layers and come to my authentic self. And that came back to I'm a goofy, trickster, nature loving hippie, if you ask my boyfriend. I'm a festy lover, and I'm just a dancer and a little kid at heart, is how I truly view myself.
Wow. Oh my gosh. As you're sharing, I think everyone listening is noticing parts of themselves in you as well. And I think when you hear someone who's so authentic and honors all parts and the multi dimensions of themselves, it makes us go, oh, yeah, me too, me too. So, can you tell us a little bit about your journey into, you told us about two different homes. Can you tell us about when did it start for you to make this spiritual lifestyle a career and a life's work? What did that transition look like?
Yeah, absolutely. So I would say it all started when I was about 16 or 17 years old, and I was battling a lot with alcoholism.
Mm.
And I'm so lucky that my mom was able to see that within me, and we started to get sober together when I was about 16 years old. And
Wow.
from that, I look at my path now, and I wouldn't say it's the 12 steps of AA in any way, but within those steps, there's something so beautiful about connecting to a higher power, to really finding yourself, taking radical responsibility for who you are, and then spreading that message to other people, right?
Mm.
And so I think that can be applied, that methodology, in so many ways. And that really just planted a seed for me at such a young age. But then when I went to college, it kind of got drowned out by the noise of fitting in, of being alone for the first time, and really getting to try on all of these different hats on who am I? And I have a three line in my human design. So I'm the great life experimenter. I am meant to try and fail and try and fail and try and fail, and then say, hey guys, I found the answer. You don't have to try and fail. I've done it for you. And that really, when I was 23, is where the shift happened. And I can't say exactly what it was, but I just woke up one day and I was binge drinking. I was so uncomfortable in my body. I was in a relationship, living with a partner that I tried to leave so many times, but I didn't have the power or the confidence within myself. And I was
Mm,
working a job that I was absolutely miserable in.
mm,
And from one day to the next, something just clicked in my mind. And
mm.
that seed that was planted from years ago of there is a better way, there
Yes.
is a more enlightened way, it just started to bloom. It'd been in that dark soil for so long.
Mm.
And I quit my job. I broke up with my boyfriend and I moved into my best friend from work, her living room. And I had my mattress on the floor of her little studio apartment. And we
Wow.
both were obsessed with manifestation. So we would share like manifestation meditations every morning. We would work out every morning. And
Mm,
that was where I started laying the groundwork. Like, what
wow.
is that foundation that I need to be who I truly
Mm,
am? And the moment I meditated, I'd say the very first time I meditated is the moment it became my life's work because I
wow.
felt peace for the first time. I felt calmness. I felt that aliveness. And
Mm,
that was like, I just knew I'm here to spread this.
wow. Oh my gosh. I feel peaceful listening to that. And I love how you said it started with you and your girlfriend just like sharing manifestation stuff. And I think that let's not underestimate that starting point because that's how it was for me and my sister. We were
Mm,
doing that, and then now look at this as my full freaking career. And this is your full career. So if you're listening going, oh yeah, I'm just like, resonating with these meditations and sharing manifestation stories and just living this like life by design that's really pure, that's not so outcome and result oriented, but just more like I like it, it's going to lead to really big doors opening for you as it has for us. So you touched on the relationship with your ex. When you say you didn't have the confidence or the power to leave it, but you knew, like you had, what was that like? Because I think that people listening can resonate with that. So you had a knowing that he was not your person, but you kept staying. Why? You were scared of what?
mm. I don't think I uncovered that until recently with all of the deep attachment work and somatic healing I've done. But I think in that, it's that fear, right? How many of us get stuck in these fear loops of what if there isn't something better? What
Yeah.
if this is it? And he seemed so sure. So I kept outsourcing my own knowing and my own intuition to him. If
Yep.
he knows, then if I just stay around long enough, I'll know
Mm,
eventually. I'll grow into that. He's a couple years older than me, so he must have some insight that I don't have. And I just kept giving that power away until one day the noise just got so strong within my own head that there was nothing more I could do. It was a twig snapping under that pressure of
mm,
just being ignored for so long.
yeah. Wow. And what year was this?
This was 2018.
Okay. This was 2018. And then talk to me about, because I know you came into my world in 2022, I think. Talk to me about what was going on then for you, because I know your career, you had a very successful corporate career and you were dipping your toes a lot, obviously, in the spiritual realms. But can you tell us a little bit about that switch? Because I know you made a big leap there. You've literally been living a life of adventure. And I think if anyone follows Kendall on Instagram, or if you don't, this is your sign. You'd look at you and you go, I want her life. Like you're traveling all the time and you're doing, all these sound baths and yoga and the dance and the beach. And like you're just living this incredible life that I think so many people don't even know is available to them. But you decided around 2022, I think it was, to make some big changes. Can you share with us what those more recent big leaps were like for you?
Yes. Right when I came into your world, that was when I was finally, I think I was finally ready to receive your magic,
Mm-hmm.
because before I was so hidden in that's not available to me. That's just that power doesn't live within me. And at that time, I was living in San Diego. I was a project manager for a big financial company there in San Diego, making a six-figure salary, which was always my goal, right? Just make a lot of money. That's what I was told growing up. You go to school, you get a job, you'll never work a day in your life, and you'll just make money and be happy. You find your partner, you have your white picket fence. And for some people, that is their dream. But for me, I knew deep down, like I have a different a different mission here.
Mm-hmm.
And when I came into your world, I was juggling between that job and that life and that another mask, I would say, of be happy in this relationship, settle here in this town, like this is good for you, and desiring more. And still knowing, even though I've grown a lot from where I was in Florida, where I grew up,
Mm-hmm.
there's still more. I want to be in Europe. I want to be speaking Spanish. I want to be with a man who lights me up. I was again in another relationship that did not meet my needs, and I was just settling so much. Like, well, this must be it. They've gotten better and better, but I think this is the ceiling, this is the cap. And something broke when my ex and I split up within me. And that was when I was just so connected to my intuition at that point. So I would say from when I entered your world to when I moved to Barcelona, which is where I live now,
Yeah.
there was so much deep work. This is when I got trained, those 4 years that I was living in San Diego, in hypnotherapy,
Yeah.
sound healing. I became a Reiki master. I got into attachment style and somatic healing. And the deeper work, it wasn't just yoga anymore and meditation. It was truly seeing, if you want to leap and reach your next level, you have to peel back the layers and go underneath what's just at the conscious level, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I'd say that's where I started awakening what was under the surface.
Wow. Yeah, I just love your story, and I like to kind of probe you into sharing more of it because it's so nonchalant when it's our life, right? We're just like, yeah,
Mm.
whatever, this is just like what we do, but it's fascinating. And there's so many like extracted nuggets of wisdom that are available as we continue to listen to you share your story. Can you describe to us what your life by design is like right now, today? Like you're in Barcelona now, you have, and you've shared with me recently, you have this extremely healthy, mutual, beautiful dream relationship. You're absolutely crushing it in your soul aligned career, booking out clients, supporting so many people at retreats and ceremonies and events. And you're working with Uplift Lifestyle and supporting this community. And you're literally alive in your dream. And of course, we always feel like there's something better, there's something next, there's something more. I know I am absolutely, I fall into that all the time.
Hmm.
But without the illusion of there's something better, can you share with us just how good your life is right now and what you're up to on a day-to-day basis? Because I think it's pretty expanding for people to hear about.
Yeah. And I think there's so much in that, as you're saying, when it's our lives, it seems so nonchalant. But when I look back at what I've done, even when I wrote to you the 4 ways my life was before and the 4 ways that my life is now, my jaw almost fell to the floor. Like if my 16-year-old me could see my life now, I don't think she would believe it. But I am madly in love with my soulmate, and it's such a mutual feeling. And I've never been able to say that before on both sides and to just feel so good about it. And I moved in with him last Saturday, and that entire process, albeit was very scary for me, it was just so like even organizing the closets was fun and enjoyable for us, and everything became a pizza party or let's celebrate, let's dance, and it's just so much love. And I think love is what encompasses my life now, and that feeling of aliveness, of going to my yoga studio and something that could seem so mundane, every single class is just like, that was the best class of my life, you
Yeah.
know? And going to the two parks that are available in Barcelona, and every time it's like, look at the flowers, look at the sky. Every meal is just so enriched and so good. And that really comes to your point, as you say, of being alive in the dream, and
Mhm.
just me being able to be like, wow, the friends that I've made living across the world in a different culture, a different language, a completely different continent, out of my comfort zone, are like my soul sisters. We were meant to meet. And on top of all of that, it's like my business growing, meeting my soul clients, and feeling confident in my body, loving
Yeah.
the girl I see in the mirror, actually being able to wear my natural hair. If you said that to my 16-year-old self, like she'd think you were crazy, but it's just truly coming into, this is who I am, and I love me, and I'm so proud of me. And I think that at the end of the day, we can all strive for more physical things. And yes, we want more freedom, and that comes with money and growth. But to truly feel good in your own skin, to truly feel alive, that is like, there's no better feeling for that.
No, there's no better feeling. Holy moly. Wow, Kendall, your beautiful life is just expanding and blooming even more. And it's such a privilege to be in such close proximity with you all the time and hearing about it and seeing it and supporting it and being supported by you as well. It feels really powerful. And everyone listening, you get to have this. You get to experience this. And I promise you, what your life is right now is someone else's dream. Like it literally is somebody's dream life. And that somebody is actually probably you a year ago, a month ago, a week ago. Let's luxuriate a little longer in how good it already is and how good it's always been for us. And that doesn't mean we settle. Like listening to your story, Kendall, it's like you knew when it was time to make moves. You knew when it's time for the next thing. But that came from a foundation of so much power and knowing yourself. So the the ways in which you provide this to our community at Uplift Lifestyle, can you share a little bit about that? Because I think there's people listening now that they really understand you and they get your story and all the 4 years of training that you've done in this. And you have gifts that I love, like that I'm like, I want that. More people need this. My clients need this. My community needs this. It's a very select, rare accompaniment that you bring together of all these different flavors of spirituality, somatic work, coaching, meditation, hypnosis, and you just merge it really well. And I see a lot of my work in your work and your work in my work. And I think that people listening would be really excited to know that they can book a session with you for under $200 Canadian to get a deep dive and doing all these things and learning and discovering themselves so that they can feel fully limitless to love their life where it is and to grow their life where it's, of course, going to go. Like we're growing all the time. So
Hmm.
can you share with us a little bit about the offer, the limitless activation session that you offer our community and what that experience would look like?
Yes, I would be honored. So I think in that, right, anyone who's listening, no matter where you're at, we all, one, have dreams that we want more, 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 better. But the truth is that the better is in the now, right? And there's usually something that's blocking us from seeing that. There's a limit that is limiting us from being able to connect to the reality that everything I need is already here. Everything else is extra, is more, right? And so these limitless activation sessions are created in a way, number one, for me to understand what exactly is your desire so I can guide you to that specific desire. And each session, and this is the beauty of these sessions, you could do 50 limitless activation sessions, right? And every single one would be completely different because we will always work either with a different part, a different limit, or a different belief. And even the same belief can be worked on 5 times. Each time we grow, there's a new block, there's a new limit that needs to be touched on and loved and nurtured.
Yeah.
So I would say the basis of it all is through the hypnosis, number one, getting into that state of where you're just completely open and connected to the field of oneness. And
Mm,
from that state of openness and just trust, safety, and surrender that I will create while we are in the container together,
mm,
you are then soft, open, and aware and able to connect to the body. And that's when I will begin prompting you using whatever methodology is needed in that moment, because I do have a big toolbox of tools that I guide my own coaching clients through. And so I would then create a personalized journey for you in that time to connect with your body, to one, identify where is the limit within your body, but also what are the stories that are being created from the subconscious mind based on this body limit, right? So now we're creating a mind body connection. And that's where we're able to understand and to upgrade not only that belief, but the feeling from that belief. Because working just in the mind, and this is what I had done for so long, it only gets us so far. But the moment we're able to drop into the body, identify where that belief, that limit, that block lives, and truly experience and upgrade it through the body portal and create now a safety in the mind body connection, that's where the energy comes in, right? Now we're upgrading. Now the frequency is rising, it's elevating, and now we're tapping into that limitless potential. So it
mm,
would be a drop in, this guided journey personalized specifically for whatever it is that you are working through. And then at the end, we will close. I'll understand your experience and give you any guidance, any homework. I call it soul work with my clients because it is. But
yeah.
knowing it takes work, right? These sessions are amazing, but there is repetitive, integrative action that is needed from you after in order to apply the deep work. So I'll take you to the root, I'll upgrade it through this personalized journey, and then ongoing support can look like more sessions and
Yeah.
you doing your soul work.
Mm, that sounds so needed. And I think, and when you were saying drop in, I want everyone to know like the drop in is you showing up on the call, talking to Kendall, using your voice and saying, here's where I'm at in my life. Here's what I desire. Here's a bit about my history and my story. And the personalized journey that you will curate is based on that. So that drop in is so important. And even just being seen and heard and understood by a safe practitioner that is not just the most loving space holder, but also the most skilled, brilliant practitioner, has this big toolbox that you get to pour into these beautiful souls who say yes. It's powerful. It's powerful. And the integration work after, come back for another session, talk to me about how it's going, or don't come back for another session, but take the soul work, the homework, the soul work, and do it because you're worthy of it. You're worthy of it, and you have to be responsible in your life for yourself. So
Yeah.
good. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And I think one other thing just to note on that for anyone thinking of this drop in of I'm such a questioner, so I always want every single detail. But there is a form that you fill out prior to the session. And almost every single one of my clients has said the transformation that I had just by filling out that form, even prior to the session, is mind blowing. And that to me is a session in itself.
Yes.
But that, yeah, is just as you said, being seen, heard, and felt by someone, being experienced, and being able to just be who you are and where you are, to take off the mask and to just say, this is where I'm at.
Yeah.
No pretending, right?
Yeah.
I think that's the number one thing is like to become limitless, you have to admit that you have limits, right? And
Yeah.
you have to not be afraid to touch them and to see them and to love them,
Yeah.
right?
Oh man. Yeah. For a lot of my life, I was high performing within a limitation. And when you do so well compared to most people, you don't see your limits as much. But when you get deep through somatic work, through hypnosis, and you actually confront yourself and come face to face with the truth, when you can let yourself break through those limits, life opens up in a profound way. And every single one of you who books your session with Kendall will experience that. And you're invited. You're invited. You're called. The link will be in the show notes. The link will be on the website, upliftlifestyle.ca. Work with a facilitator. You'll scroll down, you'll see Kendall. And if you have questions, send Kendall a message, send me a message. I'll link both of our Instagrams below. It's very precious, sacred work. So don't feel bad if you have questions. You want to make sure you're being held by the right person. We get it. So reach out. And I know that you're excited to see them. Kendall, are there any last words that you have for our community here on the podcast?
The last thing that I just want to share, besides how excited I am, is the masterclass that we were talking about
Oh, yeah.
before, which is equally as exciting. And it is echoing that it's important for you to feel safe that you're picking a facilitator that is guiding you through deep work that you truly know, like, trust, and understand. And we get that. And so am offering a free masterclass through Uplift Lifestyle. So we are offering this together. Details will come, but it will be in the coming weeks. And I'm sure there will be continued masterclasses after that, just to help you guys, one, get to know me, but also get to know yourselves and guiding you through topics that can seem otherwise very complex and sometimes scary, and realize it's normal. We all go through this. And let's talk about it. Let's destigmatize a lot of these topics of having limits, of having fears, of having doubts. Let's normalize being human. And
Yeah.
from that humanness, tap into the fact that we actually are limitless and we are these abundant spiritual light beings, and you can create any life that you want. So that is to come, and we will also have those details for you coming very, very soon.
Oh, yeah. I'm glad you brought that up. We literally are God in human form.
Mm.
And that is a lot. That is a lot. It's a big fucking deal. And it's a lot of good and it's a lot of hard as well. So we're going to get into it. If you're listening to this right when it drops, the masterclass, right when this episode drops, the masterclass will not be out yet. But if you're catching this months later, we will link the masterclass replay in the show notes as well. So
Mm.
you can access that and then book your session. Book your session. If you're hearing this before the masterclass and you're like, I just want a session because I want that customized, individualized experience, trust that. All right. Thank you, everyone, for listening. We adore you. We appreciate you for being the type of person that's saying yes to your highest timeline, being the type of person that's choosing a spiritual path and choosing a new way forward. It's a big deal, and we see you and we thank you. Please share this episode with someone who it would benefit. Like, subscribe, and let us know how it landed for you. Thank you.
Thank you.